Do you want to press it for me? Because I'm a little bit nervous now. That needle phobia's kicking in again.
3, 2, 1, go.
Hello, Dr Vish. Welcome to Things People Do. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Nice to see Vish, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Although slightly unnerving, if I'm
No,
honest.
I'm feeling a bit nervous too, so it's all good.
Oh, good. We're in this together.
Yeah.
Are you feeling nervous, Tom?
No, in no way, shape or form, Joe. I feel quite relaxed today. Why should I be feeling nervous? You're the one having the blood test.
Right, my actual blood.
We're taking some of your blood.
Right, before we get onto that, right. Dr Vish, you're clearly a doctor.
I am, yeah. So I'm a GP by background.
GP standing for good person.
Good person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So GP, general practitioner. So I still see patients for the NHS, but my main gig is working for Thriver. So I'm the medical director at Thriver. And at Thriver, where our whole kind of mission is increasing health span for people. And we do that with preventative healthcare.
What was in like live longer?
Live longer and healthier for longer.
Oh, right.
I think we need to start here, Joe, with why blood matters. Now, clearly, if we were to take all of Joe's blood out of his body, he would be in a little bit of strife.
Or strifer.
That's the extent of Dr. Vish, of my blood knowledge.
So why blood matters? So yeah, if you think of blood as this amazing kind of information superhighway, so the blood kind of travels across all the different tissues of your body. It carries oxygen and nutrients to all the different cells. And then at the same time, it's carrying waste products away. So if you take even just a couple of drops of blood, you get this really comprehensive view of what's happening inside your body at any given time. So you can, find out lots and lots of information from your blood.
This is good news, Joe, but I see a problem. Like, your blood that's going around your arm right now has got all this information. Try talking to it, see what it tells you.
I nearly did then, and that's unkind of what you're trying to do to me. That sounds amazing. Like, I could just... So did Thriver, like, plug into my blood and then, like, read my blood?
In a way, yeah.
Like the Matrix?
Not quite like the Matrix, but almost there. We're almost there. So you just need a few drops of blood, and then the blood goes to the lab processes it, and then you'll get a detailed report taking you through what's inside your blood. So it's almost as if your blood is talking to you.
Well, when I give you my blood, will you give that back at all?
Does he need it?
Do I need that back?
You don't, like a few drops, you probably could do without the blood.
How much have I got, though?
You've got about 7 or 8 liters. Well, you're a big fella, so maybe more. A lot. I don't want to put a figure on it.
Oh,
but
quite flattered by that, aren't you?
I've got a lot of blood in me.
How many pints, like, if I'm thinking about pint glasses lined up on this table in front of us, Dr. Vish, how many pints of Joe? That sounds a bit sinister. How many pints of Joe's blood would I see in front of us?
Bloody Mary. Probably 20. I honestly
20 pints?
Maybe 20 pints.
Wow.
Mate, that's amazing. Well played.
And is it true that blood's not red?
Blood is red.
What? You know when you've cut yourself before, what colour's your blood been when it's exited your skin?
It has been red. But I heard that blood is actually blue inside, but only turns red when it hits the air outside. Am I wrong?
I will have to double check that. I'm not sure. I mean, I think blood is red.
Okay. I can't remember who told me that.
Well sourced then.
It was Wells.
Was it a posh person at Quinn's? Referring to their own blue blood?
Possibly, yeah. But I think it mainly came from the pictures of like bodies that I've seen where you've got like blue lines and red lines. So the veins are blue and the arteries are red.
So that's kind of because the veins are carrying blood that's not oxygenated anymore. Then it kind of looks a bit more blue through the skin. And when you've got oxygen attached to the blood, the heme, which is the protein that carries the oxygen. Heme. That's what looks red.
Heme.
Heme.
Hemoglobin.
Hemoglobin is the protein, yeah.
Hemoglobin.
Good word, that is.
Good.
Hematologist.
Yep.
Hemorrhage.
Yep.
Hemorrhoid.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, all related. Let's not.
Hematosis.
Hematosis.
He may have said too much and
He
overextended
has.
himself.
I've wasted all my hemas. Oh.
So this episode is focusing on home blood testing. Why is this the best way to get it done, Dr. Vish?
Why is it the best? Well, it's not the only way to get it done, but a lot of people find it difficult to book an appointment to get their blood taken, so it's pretty inconvenient. Some people are scared of having their blood taken, and the way that we do it is a fairly painless way, so it's super easy.
So is it the finger prick one?
No. It's a device that you pop on your arm, and then you might feel a tiny little scratch or something like that, and then not even that really, and then you get the blood taken. It draws the blood out, and then you send it off to the lab.
Did you, Joe, in the course of your long career as an elite sports person, have a... Sorry, I couldn't say that with a straight face.
Wanker, honestly.
Did you have many blood tests, Joe?
I did actually. Yeah, I didn't like them because I'm not very vascular. I've got a few more layers than other people, so they struggled to find it quite a lot. And then the needles, they were ginormous. I was like, where the fuck are you putting that? Why can't just give us a little prick and I'll give you some blood? But they obviously needed big vials of it all. So I wasn't great, and I'd often have to look away. And there was always that fear that I was going to pass out, and then the embarrassment. Oh, you're meant to be a big lad and you fucking can't handle a needle. So I'd have it done a fair bit. Yeah, I was always a little bit scared, but the way Dr. Vish has described it, I think I'm going to prefer this one, aren't I?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people find this easy. Needle phobia is pretty common. So 1 in 3 people have needle phobia. So 1 out of us in the room, it's pretty standard. And the whole kind of passing out thing is also very common. It's like the phobia is different from other phobias. So with other phobias, your blood pressure doesn't drop and you don't faint. But with needle phobia, that does happen. And that kind of makes evolutionary sense, because if you've got an injury and you're bleeding out, you want your blood pressure to drop because then that makes your blood clot easier and then you're less likely to bleed out. So it's good that you're feeling a bit faint when you're coming across a needle, in a way.
This is all about the positives for you so far.
This
Joe,
is
isn't
good.
it?
This is
20
this
pints
is going
of
to work
blood.
for me. This
Yeah.
is going to work.
This idea, Dr. Vish, that you introduced right at the very start, healthspan. I've never heard of healthspan before, Joe. Have you?
Well, I thought it was just about living longer, but is that different? Is that different to lifespan?
Yeah, so they're related but slightly different. So lifespan is something that we're all fairly aware of. So that's the amount of time that you spend in your life. So the time between birth and death. Healthspan is those years within your lifespan that you're actually in good health. So the time that you can really enjoy in good health.
So that's quality. We're looking
The quality,
at
yes.
improving the quality rather than the quantity.
Well, the quality and the quantity.
Oh, we're
Both.
doing both.
More years of high quality
Yeah.
in good health. So
This
that's
is
what
good.
health span is. And, lifespan over the last sort of half a century has been extending. So we've made massive progress in extending lifespan. So if you're, in the 1980s, you'd have a 1 in 5 chance of living to the age of 84. And nowadays that's 1 in 2. So that's really good.
Yeah.
But the problem is that health span hasn't been increasing at the same pace. So that means that we're spending more of our life in poor health. So on average, a person today would spend about 25% of their life in poor health, which is
That's
sort of 20
fucking
years.
huge.
That's too
It's a
much
long-
for me, that. 25%.
No wonder I'm like, oh, I'll just knock it on the head at 70.
Yeah.
What fucking good is anything past 70?
Imagine, Joe, if rather than reaching 65 and thinking, what's the point, you got to 65 and you were like, I've never felt better.
Well, that's it, yeah.
And like doing these tests to then, how does it? I'm so intrigued now. I'm desperate to
Okay.
learn more and
so
know more.
Our whole mission is to try and increase health span. And we try and take a slightly different, sort of more proactive approach. So if you think about the NHS, when it was first set up, it was really designed to treat acute illnesses. So those are things like infections or injuries. And the NHS does that amazingly well. I love the NHS.
So that's quite reactionary, isn't it?
Yeah, more kind of reactive.
Yeah.
But the problem is that if you kind of intervene and only step in when someone's already sick, you do increase their lifespan, but you're not increasing their health span. So people end up spending more of their lives in poor health. And so at Thriver, we're trying to take a bit more of a focus on prevention and acting more early. So the idea is that you can understand what's happening in your health. You're trying to improve your health before problems set in and before you develop these conditions which threaten your health span. So it's a lot easier to act early than sort of deal with things later on down the line.
Joe, if you are trying to work out how well you're feeling, what do you do? Stare in the mirror? Stick your tongue out? What are your techniques?
Stick my tongue out.
That's what people used to do, innit? Just like that.
Um,
Do you look at the bags under your eyes? Do you
no.
glands? Do you feel your glands? Not that.
Oh, I
glands.
do the glands sometimes. If my throat's feeling a little bit, I'm like, oh, are my glands up? Or my glands in my thighs, my loins.
Your thigh glands.
But that tends to happen if you've got an infection. Like it's already too late, isn't it? Because something's already.
It can be a sign that you're under the weather, and
Yeah.
it's a sign of inflammation. So your body's already fighting against an infection often.
It just feels a bit like guesswork, Joe. Is what I'm saying. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I need
So
something.
how the
more-
hell are we supposed to know?
I need
if you're
something more concrete.
Mm.
I need this Thriver test in my life, don't I? But I don't know what that'll do for me. What will this actual test do for me?
Well, it'll give you a lot of information. So, I mean, the first thing to say is, I think you should listen to your body, and you do have access to how you feel day to day. And if you do have symptoms and things are worrying you, you shouldn't ignore those. But how you feel is just the kind of tip of the iceberg. So there are sometimes things going on in your body's compensating for issues before you kind of notice any symptoms. And that's why having a blood test can give you information that helps you understand how your body's functioning, and then helps you prevent these long-standing illnesses later down the line. So there's lots of information that you can get from a blood test.
In that information, will it be able to pick up stuff like, I don't know, diabetes or like heart diseases or conditions that might happen down the line?
Yeah, that's 100% what we're looking at. So we can test for things like diabetes with a test called HbA1c, which measures your average blood sugar. We measure your nutritional status, so things like vitamin D, B12, folate. Are you getting enough of what you need? We're measuring things like inflammation, so is your body reacting to something? Your thyroid hormones, sex hormones, lots of information. And we're also measuring for risk factors for things like heart disease and dementia. So things that you can change at the moment or take action on, which prevent those illnesses from occurring in the future or delaying the onset of those.
I don't know how I feel about this, Joe. Like, on one hand, I think I'd want to know exactly what was going on, but there's a tiny part of me which is a bit like, I could be walking around with some sort of ticking bomb inside me.
Yeah.
Do I really want to know?
But how many of us are actually feeling like that? That we walk around, we haven't got a clue what's going on inside us.
I mean, you do have access to how you feel. And if you look great and you feel wonderful, then maybe things are all good. But I think it's useful just to get the hard evidence, just to understand what's happening inside your body. There are a lot of people, walking around at the moment with undiagnosed medical conditions. So we know that of the people who have diabetes at the moment, 1/3 of them don't know that they have diabetes. Similarly for things like chronic kidney disease. So, I don't want to scare people. And those conditions are kind of fairly late onset. So it's a bit further down the line. But we can pick up, things that are moving towards those conditions a lot earlier. And then you can take action when it's much easier to do now.
How are you feeling about your health, Joe?
Um,
Be honest on this show.
well, I'm actually day 2 into a new diet.
Wow. You're taking this seriously then? A whole day? What is your new
You've got to
diet?
start somewhere.
Yes, you have.
I don't
Journey of 1,000 miles starts with day 2 of a new dietary plan.
I don't want to talk about my diet.
Okay.
But I am feeling very heavy at the minute. And I look bad like a melted wheelie bin in the mirror. So I feel bad, I look bad, and I just want to try and do something about it. Whereas, which is different to where I was at before, where I was happy to just bury my head in the sand,
Mhm.
make excuses. I was like, oh, it's all right, I can play rugby at the weekend and I'll get by, so I must be healthy. And now I'm sort of changing the mindset of like, no, it's better to find out what is going on so that I can start putting things in place to feel better, look better, and I guess not just live longer, but live happier
Yeah.
with it all, be more healthy. Because walking up the stairs to get to this studio is
Do you want the good news?
yeah, go on.
Like, as you came up the stairs, I didn't hear your usual heavy footfall.
Oh,
It
good.
was like Joe's lost
Thanks.
weight.
Thank you.
But what I could hear was the wheezing.
You're a fucker, you
Listen,
are.
it's just about honesty.
You
I think
draw
we can-
me in there with a compliment and then go, sound like Mr. Wheezy out of Toy Story.
Yeah, you were a little bit. But listen, it's a time of year where there might be hay fever in the air, Joe. It could be a short-term thing. We need to find out, don't we?
Yeah, we do, please. Yeah, can't. I didn't need to. Dr. Vish, talk to us a bit more about the different tests that then tell us the results. What are you looking for from these different tests?
Okay, so a lot of the tests are looking for risk factors, which are for chronic conditions which impact your health span. So things like heart disease, your metabolic health, so things like diabetes. We measure your liver function, kidney function, hormones. So the idea is that you are changing these risk factors to prevent these conditions from occurring in the future. So one of the biggest tests that we offer is HbA1c. So that measures your blood sugar over the last sort of 8 to 12 weeks. And that's a test that's used by the NHS. So if you have a level of 48 or more, that indicates diabetes. And if you have a level of between 42 and 47, that's pre-diabetes. But if you have a level of 41, that would be considered normal. The problem is that if you do have a level of 41, that doesn't mean that you don't have to worry. We know that once your levels are kind of more than 37, then the risk of various illnesses like heart disease starts increasing. So if you had a blood test with Thriver and your level was 37, 38, instead of being told that's normal, you don't need to worry about it, we would flag that this is starting to creep up towards the danger zone, and this is the time to start taking action because you don't want diabetes later down the line.
So why do we why should we be using Thriver to get these results compared to going to the NHS? Do you do stuff differently? Does it happen quicker? Do you do more tests, or why can't I just go to my GP and get this done?
So you can get some of the tests through the NHS. You would need to book an appointment. So there's the convenience factor. So you can do this all from the comfort of your own home. And then we also offer tests that the NHS doesn't offer. And we also look at the results in a different way. So like how I explained the HbA1c, you might just be told that's normal if you had a result of 41. We would ensure that you're taking action if your results are moving in the wrong direction. And I can talk a little bit about the different tests that we offer that you wouldn't necessarily get in the NHS as well.
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the biggest tests that we look at is a test called ApoB. So that's kind of part of our advanced lipid panel. And lipids are things that we check because they're risk factors for developing heart disease in the future.
Lipid. Hang on, lipid. Something to do with fat.
Something to do with fat. Yeah.
Lipid. The different types of lipids.
Yeah. So lipids are fats. Cholesterol
You're doing well
is
today.
one of the
Thank you.
lipids.
Thank you.
So it's like an advanced cholesterol test.
Yeah.
So when you get a normal standard cholesterol test, you would typically measure things like LDL cholesterol, which is the so-called bad cholesterol, and HDL cholesterol, which is the so-called good cholesterol. Now, we worry about LDL cholesterol because the LDL gets into the arterial walls and starts making them hard and starts clogging them up.
You know this cholesterol stuff?
Yeah.
Is it just like fat? Is it like yellow fat that just clogs your arteries?
Sort of, but not quite that simple.
What is cholesterol?
So cholesterol is a fat. It's a fat that your body makes. So it's not sort of good or bad. It's essential for life. all the cells of the body need it. It's made mainly by the liver. So it's a bit of a myth that most of your cholesterol comes from your diet. Most of it is made by the liver. And because it's a fat, it can't be transported around in the blood easily. So if you think of like oil drops in water, it doesn't go. So they need to be transported in these special particles. And the particles are called lipoproteins, and that's what the LDL is and the HDL.
Wow.
So LDL is moving cholesterol away from your liver to the different parts of your body that need it. Now, the problem is if the LDL gets into the arterial wall, then it starts causing problems. And that's when your arterial wall starts thickening, and then you reduce your blood flow to parts of your body that need it. And that's what causes heart attacks and strokes. So that's the kind of LDL.
Yeah.
Just going back to ApoB. So when you get your standard cholesterol test, what you're measuring is the cholesterol that's in LDL particles and HDL particles. So if you think of these particles as like little trucks that are moving around in this highway in your blood, what we're doing is we're measuring the amount of cargo that's in these trucks in a standard test.
I'm absolutely loving these analogies. This is making it work for me. I'm getting it.
Okay, you're getting it.
Sorry.
Where was I? So you're in a standard test, you're measuring the amount of cargo, the cholesterol that's in these trucks. But what's more important for your risk of heart disease is not the amount of cargo, it's the number of these trucks that are driving around. If you've got too many of these trucks, they end up bashing about and crashing into the arteries, and that's why they cause a problem. So the ApoB test is it's measuring the number of trucks. That's more important than the amount of cargo. There are people with low levels of cargo, low levels of LDL, who think that, they're fine, but they've actually got a high number of trucks. So without the ApoB test, you wouldn't know you've got a high number of trucks. So it's a really important thing to know. And you can bring your levels down with diet, with exercise, with medication if necessary. And that will then reduce your risk of developing heart disease in the future. If hopefully that makes sense. Yeah.
Perfect sense.
Okay.
To me. Loved it. All I'm going to think about is these trucks going around my body now. And I am actually going to make the noises. Oh, there's a little crash on that one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Looking at your face, Joe, as Dr. Vish was explaining those things to us, I saw your eyes full of life. I saw your expression doing that.
Mm.
It's one of these things, isn't it, that you don't think about for a long time. And then when someone starts going, you could find out this, you go, could I?
Mm.
Could I?
Yeah, why are we so reluctant to know that?
I think people, what do you reckon, Dr. Vish? I reckon sometimes people fear the worst, so therefore they don't want to know.
Yeah, 100%. So there's the fear of, finding out something that you need to take action on. You don't want to find out some bad news. That's really common. There's also the fear of being judged as well. So there is a reluctance to look and see what's happening, but I would say it's better to kind of find out and take control of your health than kind of bury your head in the sand, for sure.
Do you think it's also part of like a British attitude that you're like, we almost embrace feeling crap and
I'm fine, don't worry about me.
Just crack on with it. You don't want to be a burden.
Yeah.
Or whinge.
Situation. Or,
Yeah.
Or actually you want to have the ability to whinge.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I'm a martyr to my back. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a very British thing, I would say. Like, we don't want to make a fuss, and we're taught to just grin and bear it rather than address problems. And then a lot of people don't notice that there is an issue happening. In the same way as when you're growing up, you're growing taller each day, but you don't notice the change. But after a year, you'll obviously notice that you are a lot taller. Sometimes you might be feeling a bit under the weather, unwell. You might be drifting towards this sort of poorer health state. And then you kind of just accept that as a new normal without realizing how far you've actually drifted. So that's another factor why people don't necessarily seek help and try and find out what's happening inside their bodies.
Joe, we have a white cardboard box, a rectangular white cardboard box on the desk in front of you. And this is where we're going next. You're going to unbox the box, if that makes sense. And we're going to find out what's inside the box. And then we're going to find out what is inside Joe Marler.
Right. I've never done one of these before. This is the Thriver Listen to Your Blood test kit.
What's your blood saying? What? If your blood could speak, what would it say? Ow.
Sort your life out, you fat fuck. That's what he's saying to me.
What sort of tone of voice does your blood have?
It got quite gargly as well, because it's a he blood.
Okay.
Are
you sure?
Yeah, sorry. And he's quite wheezy and gargling a lot because of all the fumes from the trucks
Yeah.
in his blood. That is like bad fumes. Yeah. And then he's confused as well at the same time because he doesn't know whether he's blue or red. So he hasn't made up his mind. So he's all over the place. Quite scatty blood.
Mm.
Let's find out whether he... Oh, my God, this box is... Hang on. Have you seen this box?
This is very much like when you give your 3-year-old child a Christmas present that you've thought about so much and they just want to use the box as a canoe.
Yes, but look at the way it opens.
Oh, that's quite pleasing, actually. Oh, look, it's got a little reveal.
That's what I mean. So now you see it. That's delicious. Okay, right. I've got the instructions, which sort of, I guess I should talk through to a degree, but I mean, I've got the chief doctor in the building to help me with this one. Dr. Vish.
What else is in there?
There's a little box that says, do not discard. That's my collection tube. Okay. Right, we've got all the packaging for that. What's this? What's this blue jelly thing?
That is a heat pack.
Oh, what do I need to heat up?
So you can heat up your arm, and that will
draw more blood to it.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, right. And this, what am I? This says.
That's the device. Yeah.
This is the device.
Yeah.
What does it look like?
Well, it looks like a daisy flower, actually. If I'm honest, it's quite appealing. It's a lot nicer than the 6-inch needles that they. Well, it wasn't 6 inches.
No, but in your head,
in my head, this needle just got bigger and bigger the closer it got to me.
And your idea of what constitutes 6 inches is obviously miles out of whack anyway. So
you're doing it again. Please stop that.
So you're going to open this first little packet.
Right, Dr. Vish, can you help me? Because clearly,
do you want me to come round?
This is.
What? If you could do it from there, so we can still hear you on your mic, but just describe to Joe, Dr. Vish.
Is this right? Right. Step 1: position the auto draw device.
Yeah. So you need to take it out the pack.
That would help.
Yeah.
That's a good start.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Okay. I'll heat my arm. Yeah. Thank you, Ryan. So hang on. Right. I'm going to use this heat pack. So I click that. I've had this one for a while. Oh.
Which arm are you going to go for?
I was thinking my left because it's nearer my heart. Does that make a difference? Is it not nearer my heart?
It is nearer your heart, but I don't think it'll make a difference.
Oh, right. Okay.
That's a negative.
Oh, okay. Hang on.
That's quite.
Oh, wow. That's nice.
That.
How does that work? Can we also get the company on that make these heat packs? How is that working?
I don't know.
That is so cool.
It's witchcraft, I think.
Right.
Stick it on your arm.
I'm going to do my left arm.
How high are you going?
How high? Does it matter how high I go?
No, just
it can be anywhere. Okay.
Just above the tattoo sleeve is what you've gone for here, Joe.
Okay. Right.
Okay.
Just going to... It's quite hot, actually. It's almost a little bit too hot. Dr. Vish, I'm feeling a little bit hot.
You'll be all right.
Okay, thank you.
Drink some water.
Okay, thank you.
Whilst this is warming up your arm, Joe, I have a number of supplementary questions. Once Joe has done his blood test, Dr. Vish, and he has sent it off, how long does it take him to get his results?
So usually a couple of days.
Is that all?
Yep. Pretty quick.
And then how does he find out what his results are?
So you can access your results through the app. So you open the app up and then you'll get a detailed report explaining what your blood results mean. That's all written by one of our GPs. And you'll get a plan. You'll get some ideas around what you need to do to improve your health. You're able to set some goals into the app as well. And then if you want, you can also book a consultation with one of the Thriver doctors if you want to talk to a doctor about your results in more detail. And the idea is that you try a couple of things. you track your health over time. You understand what's working for you, and you prevent these diseases from occurring in the long run.
This is so easy.
You're doing quite well, there, Joe.
I think I could be a doctor if I'm honest.
Could you?
Is that
How would you talk to yourself if you were a doctor at this point?
Calm down, Mr. Marler. It's all going to be okay. Place that on my hot bit. Right, okay. That's fine.
And you just, yeah.
And then does it matter what tube I attach first?
I would go with the yellow one first.
Yellow one first, okay. And yellow, what's the difference between the two?
So the yellow one is an SST tube. So it's looking at your serum. So it's basically the fluid in your blood that's not including your red blood cells. And then the other one is measuring things inside your red blood cells.
Okay. I've taken the plastic thing out. Oh no, I haven't taken the plastic thing out.
So this is just sitting on your arm, Joe.
Sitting on my arm.
You've now got what appears to be a red button. It's very tempting to press it and see what happens.
Do you want to press it for me? Because I'm a little bit nervous now. That needle phobia's kicking in again.
So you're going to have to press this and hold it down. Looking at the instructions there.
Yeah.
You have to press that red button down, hold it for 2 seconds. Correct, Dr. Vish?
Yeah.
Okay. Joe, ready? Slightly like a...
No, I can't do it.
It's like a personalised ejector seat. 3, 2, 1, go. How's it feeling?
Now, it may look like nothing's happening, but you need to wait a minute.
How's your arm feeling? Is it painful?
I can't feel a thing.
What?
I hope I've done this right. I can't be the first person to have cocked up a home Thriver test kit.
No, it's fairly straightforward. I mean, I don't know if you read the instructions that well, but you look like you've done everything all good.
I have. I've done it. I've done it really spot on. Where's
No
the blood?
pain? No pain?
No pain. Not a single thing. Where's my blood though? Have I got?
You got some, I'm sure.
It can take up to how long? How long can it take up to?
About 5 minutes. There we go.
It's coming.
It's coming.
What?
Look at that. How does that feel, looking at a device on your arm that is now painlessly extracting some Joe Marler blood?
That's so much easier. So I wait here for how long? It says set a timer for 5 minutes. Okay, good. I cannot feel a thing.
Really?
It's like nothing's on my arm.
Really?
How's that getting the blood
I
out?
can see the blood coming out.
It's like a vacuum, so it's just slowly drawing the blood out.
This is so clever.
Very clever, isn't it?
I just want to do loads.
Do you know what I'm doing? I'm looking at the blood that's forming in that little tube, and I'm narrowing my eyes and trying to see what I can see in the blood. Ooh. How many trucks can I see chugging around in that blood?
This is so good. Sorry, right.
How are you going to feel when you get your results? You know the whole thing where someone goes, do you want the good news first or the bad news?
Bad.
You'd always get the bad news.
Yeah, always bad. Right, Dr. Vish, can we do like a bit of a checklist of what results, what tests I'm going to get back, and then I guess what they're going to say? So, like, will you measure my Vit D from this?
Yeah, we can measure vitamin D. Yeah. So,
okay.
Which ones, Joe, are you most intrigued by, or worried?
I'm worried about the Vit D one because that's like good for bones, isn't it? That's good for bone growth and.
It is. So having adequate vitamin D reduces your risk of osteoporosis, but also it's a hormone that your body produces, or a pro-hormone. It regulates things like inflammation. Having enough vitamin D also reduces the risk of things like getting a cold as well. So really important to have enough vitamin D.
And I'm worried that I don't because,
Why?
well, I'm pasty.
Does that make a difference?
Whether you're pasty or not.
Yeah. Does it?
Surely
that's a sign for me.
Having dark skin makes you more risky, or increases the risk of you having low vitamin D. So being light skinned actually allows you to have more
news.
So your skin's a plus factor there.
How much does this need to be full?
Up to about the top line, so 400 microliters.
I'm worried that that's all the blood I've got in me.
Imagine if you were so short of blood you couldn't fill that test tube. Do you feel a bit bloodless elsewhere?
Well, we won't ever be able to test.
I've worried you, haven't I?
Yeah, you have. No, don't do that. When I've actually sent this off, how do I then get the results? How do they come back in like a? I'm worried that they'll come back in a sheet or a format that I'm like, well, what does that mean?
No.
Like, you spoke about the 43 to 47 is a diabetic sign or whatever. How do I then understand what all
so
these numbers mean?
everything's kind of laid out in a way that's really straightforward to understand. So you'll get your results and they'll be plotted in a graph. So you'll see what they are in the normal range. You'll see whether that's in what we call the optimal range or not, which is the range which is most associated with better health. And then everything's explained. So you'll get a written report done by a GP explaining exactly what your results mean, whether you need to worry about anything, and crucially, what you might want to do to improve your health as well. It's all in the app.
Sounds like the dream. Why is there no more blood?
Maybe you've run out.
Do you think I've clotted too easy? Do you know what I mean?
You're a fast clotter.
What if I press the button again?
You can do that. It's not going to harm or make any. Yeah, I think it just takes a bit of time.
So, Dr. Vish, once the tube has sufficient blood in it, what is the next stage for Joe? Talk us through what's going on with this packaging. Does he have to take it to the post office?
Yeah.
Does he have to stick it in the fridge?
No, so you don't need to stick it in the fridge. Just it'll come with a little label. You label it. You package it all up, and then just put it into a post box. You want to get it out as early as possible so that it gets to the lab quickly, and then you'll get your results sooner. So it's just literally just post it through the post box. Yeah.
It's unbelievably convenient. Like, you're literally just sitting there chatting away, doing that, and then into the packet, stick it in the post box, and you get results in 2 days. It's ludicrous.
There's only one downside that I've noticed so far, and that's me having to fast. Is that right?
So we advise people to fast because it gives the kind of most reliable reading. So if you're measuring your results over time, you want to make sure that you're testing in a similar state. And so if you're fasting, then that ensures that. Some of the tests that we do offer, things like testosterone and some of your blood lipids, they can be impacted by whether you've eaten or not. So it just gives you that proper baseline.
So it's worth it.
It's worth it, yeah.
Fasting's worth it.
How long have you fasted for?
Half an hour. No, I did the minute. It was 8 hours, I think, minimum.
So you've had no breakfast?
No breakfast.
Whew.
And the last thing I ate was 4 salmon fillets at 8 o'clock last night.
Why 4? Were you cooking for someone else and they
Well, this new diet I'm on
low carbs?
is no carbs for 10 days. It's called the Dukan diet. Anyone heard of the Dukan diet?
Who's duking?
I don't know. I'm guessing it's the person that came up with it. But it's no carbs for 10 days. In fact, you're only allowed meat or fish for 10 days. And
This is definitely a real diet rather
but you
than
can
your
eat
dream.
as much of it as you want.
Whoa. So you're just eating as much meat as you want?
Yeah. It's
Diet or fantasy?
It's 2 days in. It's actually 1 day in. I don't need someone like you, Tom, knocking me.
What are you going to have at our Japanese around the corner where we go for lunch?
Chicken.
Sashimi.
What's that?
It's raw fish without any rice.
No, thank you.
Okay.
Sounds minging. Right, how do I get this off then?
So first twist the bottle off. So
Twist the bottle off.
and then put the cap on the bottle once you've taken that off. Yep.
Put the cap on.
And then you get your plaster ready.
Oh, look at this.
It's a very pleasing.
Green or blue?
I think it is a blue day.
Thank you. So my plaster's ready, Dr. Vish.
Okay. And then you can just pull the device off and then pop the plaster on.
You can just pull it off his arm. It's not going to spurt blood at me.
No.
It just pops off.
Wow. Look at that.
Did that hurt?
No, not in the slightest.
And you've got a plaster to show you've been a brave boy.
I have been a brave boy.
You have actually.
Thank you.
Compared to the waxing of the chest, well, you weren't a brave boy, were you? Without wanting to bring that up again.
So then I've got my 2 vials of, if I use the right word, vial.
Vial's the right word.
Yeah, I've got my 2 vials of blood, and then I'm going to, they stay in that, they go back in this protective box. Yeah.
Yep.
Put that in there.
Have you put the sticker on the vial?
Yeah, stickers on the vial.
Stickers on the vial.
The other one's in there, and then I just put it in this. Oh, I don't even have to write any of the address out or anything.
That's a touch. Also, who likes printing labels off at home? Nobody. If you get one which comes with a label printed and attached, that is a big win in anyone's day.
And I could just pop that in the post.
That's it. Yeah.
Done and dusted. And it would be what? How long? How many days?
2 days usually before you get your results. Yeah.
I hope I'm not coming across like I'm calling bullshit on you, Dr. Vish.
No, it's all right.
But that's sort of how I feel. That
It's unbelievable.
this is so easy that it's actually bollocks. Do you know what I mean? I'm like,
Are you really
What-
a doctor?
what do you mean?
I am really a doctor.
I need to see some credentials now. That was so easy. I can't wait.
I really fancy a crack.
I'm glad you said A.
Hmm. Taking crack would not be part of my forward health journey.
Well, you don't know that yet.
Would it help my health span?
Well, you don't know that
You
yet.
do.
What-
Have you ever seen those
until-
photos of people when they keep getting arrested for crack? They never look better than the 6th picture, do they?
Yeah, I know, but until we get our results.
It's a no for me.
Okay.
I'll be honest. Does it hurt now? You've got your t-shirt rolled back down. You've got your plaster on. Any pain?
No,
Aches?
not a thing.
What? Bruising?
How long's this been going for?
How long's the company been going
Yeah.
for? About 8 years.
This I feel like this is going to be game changing for me. Rather than burying my head in the sand and not wanting to know what's wrong with me, because I've got a sneaky feeling that there's going to be quite a long list coming back from these results.
No, you'll be surprised. I think you're in better health than you think you are.
Oh, good. But I hope that's the case, because my BMI is actually horrific.
We've talked about this before.
Yeah, I know.
Dr. Vish, just reassure Joe that the BMI is the broadest and most blunt of tools.
It is a very blunt tool.
But one that most GPs use. So why don't we call Dr. Vish out for that?
Well, it's not something that I use exclusively. So
Oh.
I think it's useful to measure things like waist circumference, but also it's also worth testing your blood. So you want to know if you've got insulin resistance. So you can measure things like that with triglyceride levels and your HbA1c. So, looks can be deceiving, and sometimes it's better to find out what's happening inside.
Joe, if you are willing to share them, because they are your results, I am so intrigued after everything we have seen and heard today about what is going on inside Joe Marler.
Mm.
Would you be happy to share your results?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't mind. Like, even if it's like really bad, I'll happily share it, because hopefully it'll encourage other people to actually go out there.
What if it's bad news?
Well, then you can start doing something about it, as opposed to popping your clogs.
And if it's good news, just feel smug, can't you?
Just walk around like this.
Smug face.
That's my smug face.
Smugsy.
Smugsy.
Yeah.
Is that fine?
Yeah.
Dr. Vish, you've been absolutely amazing.
Thanks for
Thank
having me.
you for transforming my attitude towards my health span. And by transforming my attitude, I mean telling me what health span is. I am now far more informed. Right, well, this is the start of my health journey, and we want the listeners to get involved as well. And because I want our listeners to join me on this journey, Thriver are going to offer 20% off their first home blood test kit.
Nice.
It's so easy. You just go to thriver.co and sign up today. The code for it is, of course, Tom,
Things people do.
all one word, capitals, things people do.
Things people do.
As easy as that. And you can also find the link in the episode description. Dr. Vish, you have been wonderful. Thank you so much for coming in, mate.
Thank you.